guys. Thanks for joining me here. So, a lot of you already know I play a lot of The Crew. It's true. I stream it. I've posted dozens of videos here about it. I've defended it God knows how many times on the official forums and on Reddit. Yeah, I've invested a good deal of time in the game. I've got all the cars, I've got all the specs, I've got platinum on every challenge, and I've even had a couple of world records. So, to say I'm invested is kind of an understatement. However, what I'm going to try and do here is be unbiased in this review, so here goes. I'm almost 60 hours into the game, and I'll do the best I can. So what is The Crew? You know, this is a debate that's raged on forums and Reddit, and there never really seemed to be quite an adequate answer for it, you know? Is it an MMO? Well, I guess it is, in a fairly loose sense of the word. And after all, it's got the big open world. It's got, you know, upgradable parts. It's got PvP. We play in a server with thousands of other people. So, you know, it's an MMO. What more do you want? But it's in these areas itself where people get confused, and that's where the Crew fails to deliver. I mean, sure, it's got a big open world, but you're often left kind of feeling a bit alone there. It's a bit sparse sometimes. And sure, there's thousands of other players in the server, but the limitations of the hardware and the software, you don't actually see 7 other ones. And sure, you can upgrade your parts, but once you get the loadout you're after by grinding all day long, you just buy them for all the other vehicles of the same spec. So, yeah, and then there's PvP, and don't get started on PvP, and it's got plenty of problems. But, I mean, the biggest ones are probably that it's not actually that much fun, you know? And even if there is, if you find some fun there, there's not really any point to it, outside of earning £18,000 of credits. Really, there's no other point. Anyway, start at the beginning. So you're Alex Taylor, and you always will be Alex Taylor, and even if you don't really want to be Alex Taylor, there's no character customization here, so... Anyway, the car's the star, let's not worry about that. So Alex is pretty forgettable, to be honest. You could be anybody or nobody at all. The story tries to bring in a Fast and Furious style adventure, it's revenge, undercover police work, and in fact, if you took the first couple of Fast and Furious movies and just smashed them together, you'd probably get something that pretty much resembles the Crew's plot. But anyway, this tawdry plot drags through Michigan, New York, Florida, California, that bit in the middle, I'm dealing with what's out there, and you know, it's serviceable. Serviceable is probably as good as I can call it. It does its job, it introduces each area, each specification, and you know, it's unremarkable, but you know, it does what it needs to do. So let's look then at let's look at the map, and the map itself is huge. Access is granted almost immediately, and you've got no real restrictions as to where you can go. But wait, hold on a second. Radio towers? Yeah, you got it. Radio towers. It's a game published by Ubisoft. You know what Ubisoft are like. They love themselves a radio tower. And they work in the same in every other Ubisoft game that's released this year. You find them, you activate them, and they unveil more of the map. But the world itself, sizable, very varied. You can go from coast to coast. It's going to take you around an hour in your starter car, maybe 45 minutes in something with a bit more oomph. And 1 minute you can go from a bustling metropolis all the way down to a sleepy farmyard town the next. And Ivory Tower certainly deserves credit for making each area feel distinct. But what use is a huge map if you don't have the means to blast around it at breakneck speed? The cars. The cars in The Crew are very well modelled. They look exactly like their real world counterparts. Interiors are modelled on every vehicle, and from what limited experience I have of seeing these supercars in the real world, they certainly seem to be accurate. You know, there's variety. There's like 43 different vehicles represented, throw in a couple of doubles due to special editions, a pair of customised hot rods, and the number's closing in on 50. And each month they say, we're going to add some more. So, you know, it's getting bigger and bigger, but there's some notable manufacturers missing. Where's Fiat, Honda, Renault, Mazda, Subaru, Lotus? All of which could stake a claim at being an iconic brand in one form or another. But we can only speculate that's probably something to do with licensing. And hopefully they can work around that in the months and maybe even years to come. So looking at these cars in terms of handling, you know, In terms of handling, it's definitely more on the arcade side of the spectrum. The cars fishtail around corners with ease, but there does appear to be some work needed to just balance certain aspects of the handling, because all-wheel drive vehicles have a far easier time of getting that power down, especially under boost at high speed. Front engine rear-wheel drive, mid-engine rear-wheel drive, forget about it. Touch that boost button and you're going to be fishtailing everywhere. Overall though, each car feels pretty unique, and all of its available specs still feel unique as well, so the developers deserve credit there. A bit more time spent balancing the grip issues and it would make life an awful lot easier. One area that I find the game's lacking though isn't the sound of these things. I mean, if I'm sitting behind the wheel of a 5-litre V8 with a full performance spec upgrade, I want to hear a deep rumble. I want to hear a sound akin to two fat people wrestling in a well, just burbling away. What I get is tame. It's quiet. I want to hear a roar. And on this side of things, well, I kind of want Ivory Tower to go away and just tweak it a little bit. The sound itself isn't too far off, it's just drowned out by everything else. The ambient sounds are all present and correct, and, well, okay, you can't run over any animals, but they certainly do make some interesting noises when you clip them at the far side of 200. The radio stations in the game, to me, a bit of a letdown as well. It's different strokes for different folks, and your mileage is going to vary here, but none of the stations really appeal to me, and the number of songs kind of seem to be on the low side, so if you're driving coast to coast, let me tell you, you're going to hear the whole playlist for that station, and you'll be bored of it by the end of it. Anyway, for me, in-game music goes off, Deezer goes on, hit the road. So customization, let's see. A lot of customization options were spoken about. A lot of the trailers showed great customization options, and in some areas it does excel, and in other areas it doesn't so much. But as with many other areas of the game, it's the inconsistencies around it that bother me. Like streetcars, for example. You can get a multitude of bumpers and spoilers, but you go to a circuit car or a raid car, there's nothing at all you can do. You can change the wheels, and that is it. So that's no good. And then there's the wheel arches. Now there's an option in the game to change the wheel arches, and every car has this option, and there's not a single car in the game that actually has an alternate set of arches. Why put it there in the first place? It's just take it out, just get rid of it. There's no need to be there. Maybe it's going to be for a DLC cars that are coming, but why is it there now? Just add it in then. It's just wasting space and just disappointing people who want to see all these options. Now, okay, there's plenty of colours and stickers and things to choose from, and that's great, but it's just lacking again simple things. Layering stickers, layering vinyls, having two or three different colours on the car, an ability to paint wheels or paint a specific part of the car a specific colour. These are just things that other car games have had for over a decade, and they're just missing here. Now PvP is kind of a rather interesting beast in and of itself. I mean, each sector of map's got its own PvP lobby, and each is dedicated to a specific car spec. So Detroit's the home of your street races, Miami's the home of your perf races, but even in each of these lobbies there's still dotted around a couple of other races from different types. So PvP actually kind of turns into an odd mishmash, and there's no option just to join any lobby that has space, so you're often left with pretty long queues if you're trying to get into one of the less popular lobbies. The PvP is also run via peer-to-peer communication instead of the more common and stable dedicated servers. So you're often kind of confronted with host migrations and, waiting for player screens, and in a close battle where, precision is the key, if you're halfway around a corner and then, well, all of a sudden you're waiting for a player, it can be the difference between winning and losing. But, the developers have decided to try and balance all the vehicles, and that's great. I can kind of see where they're coming from on that one, but it does leave certain confusion to some players, because they'll go into a PvP lobby, they've just bought the new Pagani, and then all of a sudden it's getting destroyed by a Ford Focus. So I can see why new players sometimes have this question of, why is my car not as fast as some Ford Focus that I see Granny running down to the supermarket in every day, But I can see where the developers have come from. They want every car to be balanced, and races should be decided by skill, not by the car that you're in. And that's great. So before drawing a conclusion to this, I'm going to talk about this, the bane of modern gaming, microtransactions. And yeah, they're here as well, but they can be completely ignored, trust me. Completely and utterly ignored. You have the option, everything in this game has an option to buy it with, either crew credits or in-game cash. And everything has it. The cars have it, the modifications have it, the stickers have it, everything has that option. But you earn money so quickly in PvP that it shouldn't be an issue if you've got some patience. So really, microtransactions are just a non-entity. As I said before, I've unlocked everything in this game and I've not spent a single pound of real-world money outside of buying the game. So overall, let's draw a conclusion to this. Overall, there's a feeling, and it permeates the whole game, and it's just the feeling here. The guys at Ivory Tower, they're just sitting there getting on with the game, working on tweaking a few things here and there, and then this Ubisoft rep turns up and says, hey guys, we need this out the door before Christmas. And that looks to have just incited a panic. And I don't want to say the game feels unfinished, but it's certainly lacking in areas that I can certainly imagine the dev team going, we can add that in later. It's not as important as this, so let's just come back to that. And I hope that Ivory Tower can push on and really start rolling out the updates to this game, because with a few tweaks here and there, a few balances, this game could be excellent. It could be the best racing game online, bar none. However, in its current state, I'd be slightly distressed at paying the full £40, $60, whatever it is for you. I would be a bit upset. If you can get it on offer, get it for maybe £30, maybe even say 25. Absolutely, I would recommend it, but be warned, there's going to be a few things you're going to say, why is this not there? And there's not going to be an answer to that, to be honest. So, other than that, great game. Enjoy it, love it, but please just remember, just needs a bit more time spent on it. Give them time to roll out the patches, give them time to roll out the updates. This will be an amazing game. Guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening to this, 13 minutes worth of me rambling about this. But hopefully it'll inform some of your purchase decisions. So, Happy New Year, as this is my first live video of 2015. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, favourite, subscribe, share, leave comments in the box below, I'll respond. You find me on Twitter, you can find me over on my blog, all of that's in the description below. So take it easy and enjoy the game.